In May of 1980, a woman walked out of a hospital into a parking lot in Orange County, California. She never came back. There were no witnesses to her abduction. No struggle. No suspects. But for the next 4 years, someone kept calling her parents. And whoever it was, spoke, as if she were still alive. This is 15 Minutes of Murder. Dorothy Jane Scott was 32 years old. She was a single mother to a 4-year-old son. She worked as a secretary at a small company in Southern California. She lived with her aunt who helped to care for her child. Friends described her as cautious and reliable. A dedicated good mom who was protective of her son. There was nothing reckless about Dorothy Jane Scott. Which is why when she told people she was afraid, they believed her.
I'm watching you. I'm going to get you.
Months before Dorothy disappeared, the phone calls started. They came to her home. And to her workplace. He never gave his name. He never raised his voice. Instead, he spoke calmly, confidently, as though he already knew how this would end. He told Dorothy he had been watching her. That he knew where she went. That he knew what she did. Eventually, the calls escalated.
I'm going to get you.
On another call, the man told her something worse.
You're going to die soon.
Dorothy was shaken and terrified. She confided in co-workers. She told family members she believed someone was stalking her. No police report was filed. On the evening of May 28, 1980, Dorothy attended a company meeting in Anaheim with 2 co-workers, Conrad Bostrom and Pam Head. After the meeting, Conrad didn't look well and his hand was painfully swollen. Dorothy and Pam offered to take him to the emergency room at UCI Medical Center. Doctors later determined Conrad had been bitten by a black widow spider. Dorothy and Pam waited for several hours. Shortly after 11 p.m., Conrad was discharged. Dorothy offered to retrieve her car and bring it closer so her co-workers wouldn't have to walk far through the parking lot. Before heading outside, Dorothy briefly went to the restroom. Her co-workers waited near the hospital exit. Minutes passed and Dorothy didn't return. Concerned, both Conrad and Pam walked toward the parking area. That's when they saw Dorothy's car. It was moving fast and the headlights were so bright they couldn't see who was behind the wheel. The car sped past them, made a sharp turn, and exited the parking lot. Dorothy was nowhere in sight, and she was never seen again. Santa Ana police discovered Dorothy's white Toyota station wagon fully engulfed in flames, at approximately 4:30 a.m. the following morning, roughly 10 miles from the hospital. Dorothy was not nearby. Her keys were missing. There were no clear signs of a struggle. Days after Dorothy vanished, her parents' phone rang. The voice on the other end did not introduce himself. He said,
I've got her. She's fine.
Over the next 4 years, the calls continued. The voice was always the same. Sometimes he claimed Dorothy was fine. Sometimes he accused her of infidelity. Sometimes he spoke as if she were still alive and with him. He never identified himself. He never admitted to killing her. He simply called, and spoke, and disappeared again. More than 4 years after Dorothy disappeared, construction workers discovered human remains in a wooded area near Santa Ana, California. The remains were identified as Dorothy Jane Scott. Due to decomposition, an exact cause of death could not be determined. No arrests were made. After her remains were discovered, the phone calls stopped. Investigators believe Dorothy was abducted quickly and deliberately. She vanished from a public hospital in the middle of the night, without witnesses. The man who called her months before she vanished, and her parents years afterward, was never identified. Whether he acted alone, or had help, remains unknown. Whether Dorothy was killed shortly after she disappeared, or was held alive for some time, is an act that only Dorothy's killer would know. If you have information about Dorothy Jane Scott, you should email coldcase@ocsheriff.gov. Or anonymous tips. Call Crime Stoppers at 714-628-7675. Any new details could help solve this decades-old mystery of her disappearance and murder. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, share, and remember, someone is always waiting for answers. This was 15 Minutes of Murder.